So I am sitting around reading some articles because I like to try and at least stay kind of relevant on most issues that are pertinent and important to me. By no means can I stay, really informed on everything, but I really try and do my best, at least for issues that are important to me. And so I was reading around and I stumbled across an article where I discovered in Florida, cops were assimilating into high schools, getting to know the students, adding them on Facebook, texting, flirting, getting to know them, and over a long period of time, developing a friendship with them after hanging out with extracurricular activities or at the mall or whatever you do in high school. And then after a certain amount of time, after they'd gained their trust, they convince the student to buy marijuana and then sell it to them, and then they convict the student of a felony of selling illegal drugs to a cop. And when I found out about this, I was so happy. I was absolutely ecstatic. I was out of my mind happy. I was freaking out, jumping around my apartment. I was breaking open the champagne. I won't even deny it. Drinking champagne straight from the bottle. I said, screw class, skipping all my classes today because this calls for a celebration. Because the only way, in my mind, the only conceivable way that I thought that a police precinct would stoop to such a low and immoral and patently deceptive means of getting tickets and making money for the state is if every other bit of crime was eradicated. And so I'm thinking in my head, wow, for them to take the initiative and to do a project like this that's so worthless and so stupid and not beneficial to anyone, that must mean they caught all the other criminals. Every serial arsonist who's ever burned down someone's house, every rapist, every sexual predator, every pedophile, every murderer, every deviant of any kind, every streaker, every speeder on the road, every reckless drunk driver, every person who's killed in the name of heroin or a true, dangerous cartel, every person who's been engaged in domestic violence, they're all taken care of. Everyone, it's all better, 100% fine. And I was happy about this. I was like, finally, it's about time we ended crime. And lo and behold, a couple minutes after this, I was a little bit tipsy because of the champagne, and I was so excited. I opened up another tab on my computer, and lo and behold, I discovered, wait, all of crime hasn't been defeated. The world isn't perfect. That must mean that despite my reservations beforehand, that the police must have simply decided that this issue of drug dealers was so important and such a pervasive issue that they had to defeat, that they would, shirk all those other responsibilities, because who gives a shit about those dangerous guys, Let's just get those potential maybe one-day drug dealers. So that's pretty ridiculous. So I'm going to start off this commentary after that little intro with the details of this story. And although this is an anecdote and this is a one-time story, do not think for a second that this is, personal to this story. This has happened a lot all over the country. This is not just a one-time thing, and that's what's so scary about it. So basically, this story begins when, in Florida, this Florida cop precinct decided that they wanted to have cops start to, assimilate into high school culture so that they could catch, I suppose, what they labeled as potential drug dealers. And so this 25-year-old female cop ended up going to this high school and getting to know an 18-year-old honor student named Justin very well. And they were flirting and texting and getting to know each other in class and hanging out outside of school and really getting to know each other. And for those of us who have ever been in high school or are a senior in high school, the number one priority on every guy's mind is girls in high school, or at least senior year. Once you've really kind of matured and found yourself a little bit more, you're really into girls. And as every high school guy knows, at least every average-looking high school guy knows, you're going to get rejected a lot more than you get lucky, so to speak. You really have to learn with rejection, guys have to deal with rejection a lot more in their lives than women. That's not bitching, that's just the way it is. And so for this guy to be in high school and to have an attractive 25-year-old who's posing as an 18-year-old, so it's absolutely almost positive that this girl is much more mature physically than her supposed counterparts in that grade. And so this girl is taking the initiative. She's talking to him, flirting with him, and as a guy, that would feel really, really good. You know what I mean? If you're a guy who's ever had a girl flirt with you, because you're really used to this paradigm where guys are expected to do the flirting, and they're expected to be responsible for pursuing the relationship. But when the girl takes the initiative and starts doing that, you start to get really confident, and you think, wow, I must really be doing something right. This girl's really liking me. I'm getting really confident. I'm feeling good about myself. And so for a few weeks, this guy was feeling on top of the world, I bet. Just great. He's doing well in school. He's got a girl that likes him, who's interested in. They've been flirting. It's going great. And then out of nowhere, she asks him if she could get some marijuana from him. And here's the kicker. This kid did not smoke marijuana. He did not use the drug. And so, in my perspective, even if you were trying to catch a kid for being naughty, and it gets to this point, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't smoke weed, then that should be the end of the investigation. That should be it. They should say, oh, wow, this kid was asked to get weed, and he said, I don't smoke weed. Clearly, he's not a threat of potentially becoming a dealer. But no, they decide to pursue it, and she continues to hound him and ask for the marijuana. And as any high school guy knows, if a girl who's attractive and is showing overt interest in me, if she asked me as a senior in high school to get weed for her, my number one priority would then be, all right, I got to get weed for this girl because that's what she wants. I want to impress her. I want to show that I'm worthwhile. Maybe she'll think that I'm cool if I can get the weed, and that'll just make it one step closer to her really, really liking me. Maybe we can date or something like that. And so this kid takes the time to go away from his schedule of being an honor student and go procure some marijuana for this girl, even though that wasn't part of his routine. He didn't do this despite her presence. He did this to give it to her. And so he gets the weed and he brings it back to her, and he just gives it to her. He just wants to give it to her as a present, because in his mind, that's what this is. This is an opportunity for him to prove himself as a worthy man that she will be attracted to. And so he gives her the weed as a gift, and she refuses to take it. She says, no, I feel really bad. I have to give you at least $25 or something like that. And he continued to refuse until eventually he said, fine, whatever, and he took the money, and that was the end of that. Or so he thought, until a few weeks later when the police came down and slapped him right in the face with a big fat old felony just for providing weed to a girl that he thought was genuinely interested in him. And to me, this is the most disgusting, horrible type of thing to do to a person, because it's clearly entrapment. It is just tricking someone into falling victim. This is as though the police every once in a while would go around to every sex offender's house and round them up and then take them into a big field in the middle of Montana with 1 million third graders and then just let them roam around there with those third graders unattended. And then the second one of them got tempted enough with those third graders to touch them or fondle them, the police jump out of the bushes and go, hey, you pervert, you disgusting douchebag, you're coming to jail. Like, that's exactly what it's like. You're just dangling the carrot in front of them, trying to trick them into falling victim into your demented, just sick trap. And that's messed up. And the most messed up part of this is that if you did this to an adult, like a real adult, like a 30-year-old, the 30-year-old would know better. He would know not to do this because of the potential danger. And that's what's so messed up, is that they did this to an 18-year-old. They did it to the youngest available adult, someone who they knew wouldn't know any better. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I turned 18 in high school, I didn't magically become more mature overnight. It wasn't like I woke up that day senior year and was like, holy shit, I understand everything now. No, you're still a kid. And so they intentionally went for the most weak and inexperienced among us to try and exploit that weakness. And that is messed up. That is disgusting. How do these people live with themselves knowing that the only thing you're preventing is someone's successful future? This wasn't a kid that was messing up his life. This is a kid that was doing well. He was on the honor roll. And if we're being honest with ourselves, it's not that difficult to stay on the honor roll. Let's just admit it. But if you're on the honor roll, it means at least you're doing your best and you're putting forward the work and you're demonstrating that you have a work ethic. You're putting the effort forward. And they don't give a shit about that. They don't care, because in their minds, this is just another potential kid that could maybe one day possibly become evil, and because of that, they need to nip it in the bud and try and capture him. And for this kid, this isn't like a one-time disappointment. This is going to scar this kid for life. Talk about trust issues with women. Talk about relationship issues. This is messing with his mind. If I were a kid this young and I were completely, just innocent relationship-wise, and I poured my soul into something expecting to be comforted and to be reciprocated in that feeling of, mutual respect and comfort, and no, you just get slapped in the face, and it's an insult, and it's disgusting, and that's terrible. And this kid isn't even going to be able to go to college now and pursue his formerly apparently grandiose plans for life, because now he's got a felony. And I don't know what you know about felonies, but once you have one, it really limits what you can do with your life. And that's just messed up. It's not fair. What's the point of this? Who's winning? Who's gaining something from this? What crime was prevented? This is stupid. This is an immoral, disgusting action, and every police officer affiliated with this actions should not only be fired for their disgusting, just repulsive actions, but also they should be fined. They should be put in jail or something. This is just flagrant entrapment. Anyone with any semblance of a moral compass can look at this and say with utmost certainty that it is wrong, and there is no justification for this. This is messed up. It really is. And the fact that it's just on a young kid like this just cements it further that they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about you becoming a success. They don't care at all. They only care as far as you as a potential victim could propagate their career and cause success for them. And that's messed up. And the fact that people are so deluded into thinking that they're holding up this fictitious judgment system, this justice system rather, by doing things like this is pathetic. And it's really a monument to the fact that, there must be some form of brainwashing happening in this police academy and things like that, because normal people wouldn't do this. Like that's a clear instance of someone who is not normal, who would partake in an action like this. That's disgusting. So I don't know who you are, 25-year-old female cop who did this, but you should be ashamed of yourself. That's absolutely disgusting. You're trash. You are filth. You are a disgusting member of this society, and you should be ashamed. You should truly be ashamed, and I don't think you should be able to sleep at night.